What we're going to do with this thing, we're putting in some autopilot to run the factory valve that is in this tractor. We'll tie to all the sensors that are there. We'll put in our nav controller, putting in a used display with this one to work with the planter that this customer bought that is fitted with Field IQ already. Part of the reason why I wanted this one done ASAP is because we can hook it to the planter, test everything, and have one completely ready to go. So I'll let you watch as we tackle this beautiful green machine. There is something that some people know about me, some people probably don't remember my entire work history, but I have worked at a John Deere dealer, I've worked at a Case IH dealer, and I spent several years working on a farm that was mostly Cat Challenger. So I've got extensive experience with red, green, and yellow. Some blue in there because they're essentially the same as red. And so when people really need an honest opinion of which color's better, I can tell them because I've run them all. So if you really want to know, it really doesn't matter. Especially if you put Trimble in it all. It all comes down to creature comforts. What do you like? You like Ford? You like Dodge? You like Chevy? Same thing when it comes to tractors. Most of them are capable of the same things. It's just the configuration you want, mixed with the technology you need, whoever your trusted service provider is. Whether it be your local dealer or a guy like me that can kind of dabble with it all. Who do you trust? Who do you want to work with? That's what it really comes down to. Looks like the parts kit here is good, so I'll, again, keep hammering down. A little bit of info about this. This is a non-moving part steering sensor. The communication of this to the nav controller tells the system which way the front wheels are pointed. No moving parts. When these were semi-new, or well, not even semi-new, halfway through their life, I remember attending trainings and new guys would ask, well, how does that work? And all the trainers would say was PFM. PFM. I'll let you interpret that in your own mind, but it works. Alright, as you can see, I took the floor mat of this beast out so that we can access underneath the steering column here to make one connection for the manual override, run some cables, start getting this thing put together with the Trimble nav controller rather than continuing to tear things apart. So onward and upward, here we go. So the connection we're after is right here. Disconnect that from the factory Deere can and run the cable to talk to ours. Then we'll be able to turn the steering wheel and disengage the auto steer while we're operating. So that is what we're after. All right, everybody, it's the moment of truth finally. Got this install wrapped up. Everything seems to be communicating. Time to go out and calibrate it. So here we go. Alright, so pretty typical day in the life of BP. Just finished this install, thought we were going to go calibrate, everything would be great. Well, everything's fine except for we're not getting any RTK, we're getting zero communication with our tower, and our tower is literally on the other side of this building. So I've already switched out the antenna. My guess is that the cable and base that I have on here that got sent with this display are actually wrong, probably the wrong frequency. So I'm gonna gonna try something here, put a new one on, and hopefully we'll be good to go to do the left and right and roll cal challenge. So that's how it goes. Like I said, RTK signal is not coming through. I have a sneaking suspicion that my antenna for the RTK is incorrect. So I'm going to switch it out and see, before I go tear too much apart, if this will get it. There's a chance that our base station would be powered down, but I really don't think that would be the case. I really don't. So here's hoping. Go back to the correct tower here. This should be the one that's closest to us. I can set that right there because I'll just show you. Our base station is quite literally right there. Just beyond the antenna, up on that tower, 200 feet in the air. So we should be able to get signal. If the equipment is correct, my radio is not shot. Unfortunately, I do believe I have determined that the radio, as we've seen one of those radios before in one of our other videos, I believe the radio's bad in this thing. What I'm going to do, just to check if we have any other issues, I'm going to go ahead and do the steering calibration, go through that cycle, and I might swap this radio with one that I have, just to have this project done, and then we can send me the radio to put back into my own display. Go on from there. We're going to start with some beginning with our rough steering movements. This lets us know that we have control and everything's moving in the right direction. Warm it up a little bit, we'll lever up to an operational speed. Right turn, turn right, so that's a plus. Didn't turn very far. Left turn did better. Not exactly sure why I didn't turn farther. Right. There it is. Interesting. Changing the settings, much better. I'm going to do automatic dead zones. This will be the fine movements. The front axle. Same thing, operational RPM. Moving at 1 mile an hour. Does its own thing, moving left and right. Down to your active seat, baby. Turns on without me knowing. That's a little bit of a quick roll, I was expecting. And do it again and see if it comes in any different. What we're looking for here, the numbers did not move very much. What I like to see is less than a couple of tenths as far as a change in the valve. They're at 11.49. I'd like to see those numbers go no different than 11.9 or 10.9 and 9.5 right. I do not understand why it's giving me low speed opening. I've never in my career seen that one on this calibrator. We ended up at 11 and 8.8. That's less than 4 tenths, it's less than 0.5, so I'm going to go ahead and let this one run. Except it wants me to do it again so I can hit OK. So it better not give me the 1.5, 8.5. I like that. I like that a lot. We are good. Air condition settings looks good. I'm going to open up a field and just do a steering test. Just watch how it acts. Again, we're in WAS right now rather than RTK, so I'm not going to do my roll cal yet. do that before this tractor leaves, for sure, so we know when it goes to the field that we're ready to go, but yeah, at least we can see how it's steering before I go any further. Alright, we got a valid implement, now I can open a field name. Got a line, got a hit engage, see how refill. Not overly impressed with how that acquired, but we'll try it differently here. Then we're actually in the field, coming towards the line, steer hard that way. Seems to be aggressive enough. Figure out that it kind of decides eventually that it comes to the line, not just whoop, whoop. Here we go. I think that was definitely getting to the line now, but now we're overactive. Dial that back a notch. Actually, with those couple of changes, I think we got her. This takes a little bit of old school know-how. We'll be doing repeatable lines day after day. Do one more just to see what it looks like. But I do know from experience they act a little different in the field than they do on the yard. So I'm not going to get too crazy with painting all that stuff. I'm going to call this one good for now until we get that radio in. Dunzo. On to the next.
Nice catch.
Hey, do you want to hear a joke?
I do.
What's brown?
Matt Condon.
What's brown and sticky? A stick.
What gets wetter the more it dries?
Wetter the more it dries.
Let me think about it. Wetter, the more it dries.
Yellow number 2.
What? That's disgusting.
A towel.
Ah!
Alright, so what I'm working on today is we finally got some parts on the way for a planter project that we have going on. So we got a Case IH planter that we're going to wire up with Field IQ so that it can talk to the customer's other planter through a system called Vehicle Sync. Allows the shutoffs and everything to work together between two planters as they go in one field. So what I'm working on here is building an adapter to go from the module to the rate control that's out on the wing of the planter, so we can have the modules centrally located on the planter and then just have one cable go out and get our feedback and our signals sent to the rate control module. So I'm going to take these 5 wires that are all in one nice loom, put the connectors on we need. Remember a couple of weeks ago when we were organizing this thing and being ready for days like this? It's paying off now. Not a whole lot of fun at the time, but hey, here we are being efficient. Making 2 cables into one, keeping this planter clean and functional. A lot of parts are finally showing up this week, so we should be able to get these projects done and ready. Have liquid fertilizer coming in today, some seed later this week. Trying our best to get everything in place by the time plant 22 rolls around. You may be asking yourself, Brian, what is this crazy little thing you're making here? And long story short, this is a homemade section adapter to work with Trimble Field IQ going to a banjo valve for liquid control on a planter. I find myself this year building a lot more cables than I normally would. Normally I could just order another one of these adapters to go to the Trimble Field IQ module and order it today, you have it a couple days or whatever. Well, we just don't have those guarantees ever since the world decided to shut down for an indefinite amount of time and slowed everything up. So here we are. Thankfully, I got all the supplies that I needed when I did, and I can at least build some of the simpler cables like this one and keep projects moving forward with what we have. So essentially section 1, section 2, power and ground going to either one. We'll throw a Deutsch connector on the other side to mate to the Trimble Field IQ module, and we'll have ourselves a working adapter. There's a lot of things that we're doing this year that are not ideal, but we will get it to work. And we will move forward. Because we still have to feed the world. All the guys that I work with, not one of them doesn't take pride in that. And I take pride in helping them do that. By any means possible. So we're done making cables. Made several for this planter project that we're in the middle of. Last step that I did, I took the old label maker and put the part numbers that we constructed off of the Trimble website, so that in case someday we're looking at this thing, we're having issues, I can still see what part numbers we mimicked to help trace problems if there is any. Hopefully we never have problems, but if we do, at least we got something traceable rather than just a black cable with no part number and we have no idea what's going on then, because I'll probably forget on that day when it fails what I did today, because that's just how it works. So I'm going to bring all this stuff over to the shop side where Sean is working on the planter and let you see exactly what we got into there. Guys, we have a rare sighting today. Normally Matt Condon can be found on his phone in an office or in a pickup somewhere. Nobody usually knows where he is, but today, a rare sighting. He's in the shop. Building, welding, and painting.
Look at me.
Unreal. We never see this. What? I was just telling him that this site we never see in the shop. It's Matthew R. Condon.
Crikey. You're going to see a farmer actually working. Look at him painting over there.
It's beautiful.
It's not very often you see him doing something.
When we're talking about seed drive and feedback, PWM drive, this regulates the amount of oil that goes out to the hydraulic motor on this side that runs our seed meters on the planter, so you can vary your rate by your speed. So a signal goes into that to run that, but you need a feedback so you know that whatever this is doing over here is sending the correct speed, so it can know if it's got to increase or decrease. That's why we have a feedback sensor to give that reading. All this we're tying into, instead of the factory case system, like I said, we're gonna try to run it with a Trimble Field IQ, because that's what Condon's other planter is on. That way both planters in the same field can talk to each other through vehicle sync. That's the point of all of this. So we're going to run all the stuff, liquid and seed, through the same control system. So that's what we're working on here. The other planter, as you remember, the drive is now electric, also being run by Field IQ, and we're hoping to be able to calibrate that one next week. So we'll keep you updated on that as well. But again, here's all the wiring going from here up to the back of the planter. We'll have a bank of modules. We'll show you that once it's mounted up. And right here's the liquid system. We made a couple harnesses for that. We're waiting on 2 shutoff valves so that we can operate that automatically. Those are hidden in here. Case, of course, has a 4-wire system. We need a 3. They always like to do something weird, so this looks a little messy right now, but we'll get her tied into and operate it the way we want to. So what we got going on in here today is a little, gotta catch my breath. Little display swap, adding some Field IQ. The main part of this project is actually going to be the planter. The tractor is the small portion, but it's the parts I have today, so we're going to at least do something while we're doing nothing. So I won't make you watch me step by step on this one. It gets a little redundant, but figured I'd give you a shot of the before and after. The easy steer will stay. Going to try to clean things up a little bit with where the cabling is going in this one. Like I said, we're going to replace the 750 with an FMX and add a Field IQ connection back there for the planter project that we're going to be doing hopefully next week. So, well, I guess there's nothing to do but to do it. Alright, so we got this one done. We're going to throw in the measurements and do a quick calibration. With easy steer, they're actually very simple. So This should take no time at all, not like yesterday. Calibrate, good times come up. Like I say with the Easy Steer, there's not nearly as many calibration factors, I guess you could call it, as there is with autopilot like I did yesterday. So. Thread the needle between the old fuel tank and the old bins. With RTK, we should be able to miss them repeatedly. So what I'm doing here is I set a line, driving a track through the snow. I'm going to turn around and see if our tires go right back down that spot. If they do, we are good to go and sub in check or see baby. Right on the nuts, kids. Yeah, kitty, 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 kitty. Wow. Another day, another install. Alright guys, got a special feature for you today. We've got ourselves a Cat 755. And this is a real cat. Before they went and changed the name to Challenger. This is a real one. Has a good motor. Love them. Can never get enough of a good cat. Okay, maybe I can, but anyway, it's a very nice tractor. New to this customer. He runs our FMX system and pretty much everything he has. This one's getting a TMX, the updated version. One system going out, another one going in. Just in case you've ever wondered what it feels like to have your head up a cat's butt. Well, you're looking at it. Feels great. Blah. Hey look, it powered up. Next we'll see if it communicates with this guy. Then we'll know if we're going to have a good night or a bad night. Some of you may know that I spent a lot of seat time in Cat Challenger tractors several years back, so I do have an affection for them. I especially have an affection for Trimble effectively running a Challenger tractor. This customer, like I said, has a few FMXs on the yard already and another TMX as well. This tractor particularly is going to pull his planter that is equipped with Field IQ. It will also have the capability to run a sprayer, multiple other things, all sorts of stuff. The possibilities are endless. So what we're going to do, it is actually after hours now, so that is why I have you back in my hands. Because I don't have phone calls and other distractions. So I can show you this process. I'm going to grab my computer, get the nav flipped, start programming this thing so it can be calibrated. I hope to do that yet tonight and round out this video. So you just hang on tight. Roll her over! Roll her over! It's my favorite punchline. If you haven't heard that joke, you're missing out. Anybody else out there got a little OCD? Want everything in the right spot? Y'all can feel me. Well, at least we got the time and date straightened out. Now let's see what we got for unlocks. Make sure this thing is everything I thought it was. The first test is a success. I don't have the autopilot or the globe hooked up yet. I have most of the cables run throughout this tractor, power from the front to the back. I know where I want to mount the controllers. I've got one mounted already. Need to tidy some things up, but we'll get the final check here soon enough and do some calibration. So At least it started. Powered up. That's half the battle, right? All right, so we have the nav flipped. We have everything updated. We're about to program the vehicle to this, but I have a sneaking suspicion that this tractor is completely out of date and probably will not communicate. I had this on an MT800 just up the road a week ago that we finished an install, was going to go out and test, and it did not complete. We couldn't get any communication from the tractor can to the Trimble side, which was very frustrating. And that was the first time that that particular problem had happened to me, because typically these tractors are kept up pretty well by the servicing dealer in this area. But this particular tractor had a John Deere system on it before with the previous owner, so therefore I don't know why, but they did not have the need to update the tractor side to keep the system running. Actually, I do know why. There was a Reichhardt in it before, so that could be part of it. But the other tractor up the road, that was that situation. It had a John Deere ATU, which is that system kind of like our Trimble that we've talked about before that goes underneath the steering wheel, steers that way. Had no communication with the tractor anyway. So updates were not needed. But anyway, we're going to do some button pushing, and we'll see if I am correct in my fear, assumption, whatever you want to call it. And we'll have to call in a tractor technician to do an update, and then we can calibrate. Yet another project on hold because nothing just wants to go right the first time this year, I guess. But we'll keep fighting. We'll keep getting things ready one way or another. Kicking and screaming, these things will all give in. They will all give in at some point, and we will get a crop in the ground. So don't worry. You'll eat. Lord willing. You bet. So it's day 8 or 9, I'm not even sure on this video, but we are about to fire up this cat that I was working on last night. It's a new day. I feel positive today. I think things are gonna get done. Hoping to work on 2 planters, hoping to calibrate this thing. So I figured I'd take you along for the ride before calling this one a day. And luckily for you, you're about to watch the best part. Well, that's certainly better news than we had last night. So I got to give a shout out to our local service guy from Ziegler Cat, Kelby. Thanks, brah. Kelby was out here at 7:30 this morning, updated this unit, and here we are. Gonna be able to calibrate, get this thing done, and move on to the next. Keep getting people ready. A lot of things that have to be done here on a cat. Thankfully, calibration is pretty simple. You put in the measurements of the vehicle, run the line, set your aggressiveness, see how much you can stand to feel it bobbling you back and forth. That versus the accuracy. So I'm just gonna set a line here, drive it, see how it does, turn around and check our accuracy, and should be good to go. I gotta show you something real quick. That's the nice thing about cats. You can see how the steering performance is just by driving them. Makes a very nice imprint, especially when the tracks are fresh like these are. So we got a nice line imprinted. We'll drive over it and see how it engages, and we'll see if our tractor repeats right over those tracks, and we'll be good to go. I'll show you something else real quick. You've heard me talk about RTK before and the different importances of why we need it to keep accuracy in the field, accuracy of our seeding, our fertilizing, our application to keep our cost per acre to the lowest amount, reduce waste by extreme amounts. And this is what I'm talking about right here. We drove this line, now we turned around, we came back, that's our difference. 1 inch. So I will put in there a 1-inch offset. That'll correct that, so we are right on. I'd say out of the box, that's pretty darn good. If you look at that, it knows we're 1 inch off right now. So right out of the box, we are repeatable at 1 inch. So I'd say this thing is ready to get hooked onto the planter, calibrate that. We're feeling ready. So not a bad morning so far. All right, everyone, we're out here on a beautiful, balmy, almost even, spring day here in Minnesota. One of the projects that we've been working on here for the past couple weeks, we're outside ready to calibrate. We've actually run one calibration already. I cheated. We were having some issues with the left side, so I was in here doing a little poking around, trying to get things straightened out. We're going to run another test now to see if what I did actually fixed anything. So we're going to calibrate, left side drive. Let's fire everything up here. One of my favorite sounds of springtime is about to happen here. Wait for it. Got hydraulic, vacuum, on. Here we go. One of my favorite sounds in the world. Don't fill. Boom, we're up and running. Time to run a calibration because it feeds off the same hydraulics as that system. What we're looking for here is to see that turn on, get some RPM here, and then it'll auto-tune the drive itself. Here's hoping. Come on, baby. You can do it. Let's go. Yes! We got her. She's turning. Say hi to Sean. If that noise doesn't get the neighbors worked up, I don't know what will. It's also the best part of springtime, seeing who you can get freaked out when you get outside and start calibrating. Hey, look at me. I'm doing another install. Today it's 50 degrees out. 50. Oh, camera not there, over there. Okay, hi. 50 degrees out. We're working outside at a customer's yard. He was doing most of the work himself. Needed me to come in and program things, get a calibration done. Just popped in a used system with a nav controller into an MT800 series cap. So once this is done, I'm going to take it on the road, do a little calibration. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. This thing's going to be done, ready for spring. Woo! Click. Click. Boom. Just in case you're wondering, no, I have not been drinking. I'm just excited for springtime. Here comes the best part. One last quick note before I sign off for this month's behind the scenes. Just want to say huge shout out to Matt and Nick. Last night they stayed late, get all these boxes sorted, labeled, ready to go for delivery. Been very impressed with both LG and Axis this year. We have had no major supply issues. Everything's showing up on time, so we can get it out on time. And just a quick side note here too. While all three are on the yard, I wanted to make note of green, yellow, and red. We work on them all. Trimble Next Level Ag, taking your farm to the next level. What do you think, Sean?
I'm hungry.
We still taking people to the next level?
That's right.
Hell yeah.
And there's always a next level. Even after the previous next one.
Absolutely. Always going higher. Onward and upward. But it's time to eat. Gotcha.
My boss told me to have a good day, so I went home. How can you tell that a tree is a dogwood tree? By its bark. Sundays, hold on. Sundays are always a little sad, but the day before is a Saturday.
That's springtime.
Okay, let's go then. Oh my god. Don't make me get rage angry.
I would love to see it. Where's my cookie?
Your cookie? I got your cookie.
You know I want a snack pack, so why can't I just have a snack pack?